Hey guys, my next door neighbor gave me this power washer, which doesn't start. I can get it to start for a few seconds if I spray some carburetor cleaner into the carburetor. So let's have a look. Let's see here. So this is a speed clean 2000 psi pressure washer with 3.75 horsepower Briggs and Stratton engine. The model number is 020211 and made in USA. So if you need to find some manuals on this power washer, what I did was basically I just Googled Briggs and Stratton Sprint 3.75 horsepower engine manual, and I came up with this link here, which is this. Okay, so from here I go down here, and because only the Briggs and Stratton engine is used, I click that, and then you select pressure washer, then click next step. And then in here, this is the model number that I just showed you, right? So type that in, click search, and then you'll come up with three manuals. Okay, so these two look to be similar, but it looks like just a slight revision. So they may have updated the parts, so you may be more interested in this. So you can actually click on the download PDF here, and basically it'll open up three PDF manuals. One is this owner's manual. Uh, it it doesn't have tremendous amount of details, but it has some basic instructions on assembly and how to work with it, how to clean out some of the hose filters and etc. Okay, I was actually looking for the oil type, engine oil type, and I couldn't find it. And then this is the parts manual. Like I said, looks like the one is a updated revision. This is the version 0, and this is the version 2. So if you need to get the parts, you can look here and get the necessary parts number here. Structurally, it still looks to be in good shape, but looking around, it's showing a lot of age. Neighbor gave me a wrong hose and spray gun, so he's going to give me the correct one once he returns from the vacation. For now, I can test it with my hose that fits this machine. Let's unscrew this flathead screw to remove the air cleaner filter. I expected this yellow filter to be a bit more puffy, but I think it's still usable. Now let's remove one flathead screw on the front and two 10mm bolts on the side of this blower housing and recoil starter. Uh-oh, here's one problem. The rotor and magneto coil pack are quite rusty, and the gaps in between them are way too big and uneven. Now let's check the spark plug. Actually, this spark plug tip was completely coated with thick black carbon, so I cleaned it, but I forgot to hit the record button. In any case, heavy black carbon buildup on spark plug is usually a sign of rich fuel condition and or incomplete combustion. The part number for this is RJ19LM. The spark plug socket size is 13/16. Now let's check the oil. Wow. Let's clean it and check it again. For this engine, the dipstick has to be threaded in all the way to get the accurate reading. Looks like the oil is overfilled. On these small engines, it doesn't take much oil to be over or underfilled, so it's important to fill it to the correct level. In any case, the oil is totally black, and I'm sure that overfilled oil is also contributing to the thick black carbon buildup on the spark plug. Now let's check on the gasoline. Haha, is anything right on this machine? I see dark deposits at the bottom of the gas tank. I'll have to flush out the old gas and fill it with fresh gas. Let's look at the carburetor. Well, visually this doesn't look very dirty, but that's very misleading, as these carburetors have extremely tiny holes in various places and they get clogged very easily. and it's probably the most common reason why these small engines fail to start or run smoothly. Let's see if the engine is still good.
You heard that?
I think the engine is still good.
So,
This is the first time I'm working on this type of engine, so I wasn't sure of the best sequence of disassembly. In other lawnmower and pressure washer small engines that I previously worked on, usually I was able to remove the carburetor by itself with minimal disturbance to surrounding parts. However, this one required many more surrounding parts to be removed as well, which turned out to be okay because I needed to adjust the magneto coil gap anyway. So here's what I did. Loosened four Phillips head screws holding the carburetor down, unplugged the fuel line, disconnected two spring wires. Oh, be sure to take a picture of how the springs are connected for reassembly later. Not sure what this plastic flat part is called, but loosen the bolt on it. Hey, I don't even know the names to some of these parts, but I'll show you what I had to disassemble. Wow, I had to remove many parts to finally get this carburetor out. The gasket still looks good, and this looks like a fuel filter, and it's partially blocked with some jelly-like substance. And this could also block the proper fuel delivery. Now I'm going to spray some carburetor cleaner to every tiny holes that I can find and use this small carburetor cleaning needles and brushes to unclog any holes. As mentioned before, clogged carburetor is probably the number one reason why these small engines on lawnmowers, pressure washers, and snow blowers become hard to start, hard to keep it running, or it doesn't start at all. So take time to find every tiny hole where fuel travels through and go back and forth between spraying with carb cleaner and using tiny needle and brush to poke through these holes to unclog them. I cut the video short, but this carburetor cleaning went on for about 10 to 15 minutes. Reassembly is just the reversal of disassembly, so I'll just speed up the video here for your reference. I have always set the coil gap to the thickness of a business card on these small engines, and this method has always worked for me. First, position the business card in between the rotor and the coil, and then spin the rotor until the magnetic surface aligns with the coil. At this point, the strong magnetic force pulls coil to the rotor, and business card will be stuck in between the two. Now tighten the coil bolts in place and then pull out the business card. If it's hard to pull the business card out, then you can spin the rotor to the non-magnetic surface to get it out. Now spin the rotor back and forth and make sure that it can still spin freely. With the coil gap set, now we can reinstall the remaining parts.
So I'm gonna change oil. This takes SAE 5W30 or just SAE 30. So I'm gonna drain the oil through the oil filler. Now, optionally, you could actually drain it from this oil plug at the bottom, but if I do that, I'm gonna get oil all over the pump. So I don't wanna mess with that. Look at that. Have you ever seen like black oil? I'm not sure they actually changed the oil. I think they may have just filled the oil once in a while. This is really bad. Okay. I have about 1 quart left on this, so we're gonna try to get to 20 ounce here. Okay, that's 12 ounce. I'm actually surprised it's gonna take 20 ounce, so. You gotta screw it in all the way to check the oil level. Actually, you know what? It already almost looks full. And you see that oil is brand new oil, looks dark already. There's still a lot of contaminations in there. Let's try again. It's at the near full mark. Okay, so I just poured out the old oil and you can see it's same as the last amount, and I'm sure at least half ounce is still left in there. So it looks like the documentation of 20 ounces is wrong, Looks like it's gonna take about 12 ounce. I forgot to drain the gasoline before I filled it, but as you can see, it's more clean now compared to before.
So I've cleaned the carbon off the spark plug, unclogged and cleaned the carburetor, removed the rust on rotor and coil, adjusted coil gap, changed oil, replaced old gas with fresh one. So let's see if it starts. Wow, I expected to take at least several pulls on the first time, but to my surprise, it started on the first pull. Wow, crazy awesome. Now let's see if the pressure pump is any good. As mentioned before, the neighbor gave me wrong size hose, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use my hose to test this. All right, so looks like everything's working. Another dead small engine saved. Just in the past 10 years, I think I saved at least 10 small engines that people gave up on. Since I already have a nicer and newer power washer, I'll either give this to a friend or sell it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.